Welcome to your next tutorial on how to build a job site with PHP. In the past tutorial, we installed Raw PHP and we saw the default home page. And right now, we're going to set up the database of Raw PHP. If you check out the folder that we downloaded, which is the Raw PHP folder, you will see that there is a file here. That is Raw PHP database.sql. That is what we're going to use. But before then, we need to first create the database. So go to your start menu and type WARM server. That's if you downloaded WARM server. I downloaded WARM server, so that's mine. So if you downloaded any other type of server like LAMP or XAMPP, you just type XAMPP and then open it from there. So you click on it once, it starts. Then when WARM server runs, you basically don't see anything except that if you click this little icon by the bottom right here, you will notice that the icon is green. So when it's starting up, it changes different colors. So you basically wait for it until it's green. Once it's green, then we can access the database we're looking for. So go to your browser, type localhost/phpMyAdmin. That is the database management system we're looking for. It helps us to manage SQL databases. So here is it. To create a new database, I'll click on database. And we type the name. What name do we call our new application? We're going to call it Raw. I could just call it Raw Jobs, and then click Create. So it is created. Then we need to create tables. But instead of that, we're just going to run the SQL that we copied. So we click on SQL. Then we go to our folder, our Raw PHP folder. Double click to open this, and then we select everything, copy, paste. Okay, I pressed Ctrl+C to paste, and then I'm gonna hit this icon here, the Go icon, and our database is created. So if you go back to the structure of your Raw Jobs database, you see that it has created 3 tables for us. These are the 3 default tables that comes with Raw PHP. So let's look at the users table, for instance. If you click on the users table, you see that it comes with 2 default users. And if you read this, these are the users in the database that Raw PHP highlighted for us. And if you check out in the database, it has these 2 users, and they have different roles. So if you check on their role, they have role ID of 3 and 3, and one of them is supposed to be the admin. To make somebody admin, we'll simply change the role. We'll do it programmatically down the line, but here we can just change the role to make the person an admin. Alright, so the next thing we're going to check out is the structure of the other table. I'm just showing you through what's in the other table. This is the roles table. Our roles table kind of manages our roles, and it already has 3 roles, which is the super admin, the moderator, and the user, the common user. 3 roles. So if somebody has a role ID of 1 in our application, it means that they are a super admin. Which means if we get back to the users table, John has a role ID of 1, which means John is a super admin. Jenny has a role ID of 3, which means Jenny is an ordinary user. Alright, so a role ID of 2 should make the person a moderator by default. Alright, these things will become clearer as we actually code it out in the further tutorials. The last thing we have here is the posts table. It's basically a sample block that comes with Raw PHP, showing you how to write different codes that you will ever need. So there are 2 posts in our post table, which is 1 and 2, and it just basically has title and body. Then who created it? This is the ID of the user that created it. This is the time and date. So when a user creates a post, the ID shows up here. If we get back to our users table, we'll see that each user has an ID of 1. John has an ID of 1. Jenny has an ID of 2. So if Jenny creates a post, the user ID will be 2. Alright, I hope that this kind of explains some things, but it will become clearer as we go down the line. Now we have set up our database. We can come to our Raw PHP application and refresh. It appears we have an error. Alright, so we need to go set up our database. open your raw PHP application in any of your editors. A good editor that I'm having is Visual Studio Code. If you don't have it, you can download it if you want. Otherwise, you can use the editor that you're using. So I'll just say Visual Studio Code. Download. So it's free. You just download it and start using it. Alright, so to open Visual Studio Code, to open this folder in Visual Studio Code, you just hold your Shift key, right click and click on Open with Code. Alright, so it opens your application in Visual Studio Code. So when your raw PHP application opens up, you see the folder structure. What you're looking for is the config folder. We'll click on the config folder, click on database config. We are trying to set up the database. Remember, if you're using ordinary PHP, if you're building this site from scratch by yourself, you will need to start writing database connection queries, and it will just take you more time to actually achieve the aim of your project. So in this, raw PHP has already done that for us. We just need to enter the details of our database. So right here, as you can see, our database is localhost. Even if it's hosted on the server, as long as your database sits on the same server as your application, it should still be localhost. You don't need to change this. Then the database name we had was raw jobs. That's a database name as is visible from here, raw jobs. Then the database login is root, and the password, I'll enter my password after I close this. So you should enter the password you used to log into your PHP My Admin. If you didn't set up the password, it should just be default, it should be empty like this. So yours should probably work exactly like this without entering a password. Alright, so once we have that sorted out, make sure that you enter the same details in this too, raw jobs. The reason it's 2 is because raw PHP allows you to have Laravel and Cake PHP working exactly in your application. If you have other kind of codes you want to write, you can add other types of database. For instance, if you're running tests, you can add a test database where you save dummy data and do tests. Alright,